know my name. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Big time, lot of slime. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me, yeah. Big time, big time, big time.
Welcome to episode 274 of Fourth and Jawn. I'm Gayle Saunders here with Chris Mallee and Mal Davis. Mal times Deuce over here. These guys, man, first and foremost, put in a ton of work during the draft season. Not just, I mean, they're watching tape. I wouldn't have any other dudes that I respect really doing the grind, because not everyone's really about the grind out here, but it's always great to see you guys during draft season. I'm excited. I know the Sixers are fucking up some vibes, but I'm excited about the draft. It's right around the corner. It's just a matter of you get to that moment in the draft study where you're just like, can I watch any more film? Do I need to go back and watch more prospects? Did I devalue someone for no reason? I think that's where I am in the process. I'm still going back and looking at more prospects day 3, trying to figure some stuff out. But overall, man, I mean, how you guys feeling? I mean, first and foremost, Chris, got a little recent news. You might want to let us know about this image here. You might want to, tell the people.
So, be spending the next couple months going to Sweat University. No, so I signed. I signed a clothing deal with Sweat Taylor. So Gayle and we were down in Mobile for the Senior Bowl, and we knew that Adam reached out to us on Twitter, but it was like so hectic. We were just like taking it all in down there, and then all of a sudden, Adam like taps me on the shoulder. He's like, "Yo, man, what's going on?" He's like, "I'm Adam." I'm like, "Oh, dude, I know who you are." And then he just introduced himself to both Gayle and I, and we're like looking out in the field, and like every single player and all the coaches all had Sweat Taylor on, and they literally sponsored the whole Senior Bowl the last couple of years. Jason Kelsey, Nick Foles, Kyle Bryant, like all Mike Garafolo, all these guys wear Sweat Taylor. And right when I got home, I started talking to Adam. And he hit me up when he was back in Cali. And he's like, "Yo, dude, like, let's do something." And then after that, we just started talking, did a photo shoot, I did an interview and a blog and everything. And I'm now the new brand ambassador of Sweat Taylor. And it's cool, though, because we'll see if George Karlaftis ends up in Philadelphia, because he's also one of the new brand ambassadors. So that'll be interesting. Get a cool
nice.
collaboration. But no, it's awesome, man. Get everyone in the chat, get all you guys discounts for yourself, friends, and family. Wouldn't be here without any of you guys. And I want to make sure that I side with a brand that pays it forward and pays it back and gets everyone hooked up with deals and everything. Really good clothes, though. It's awesome.
Pretty swaggy stuff. Now, Mal, how you feeling out there, my guy?
Yo, kicking it, bro. I'm thinking, I was just reminiscing, like, this deja vu all over again. I think this is the second draft season I've been rocking with Mallee. And so, it's just a blessing, bro. As far as swag, I don't got no Sweat Taylor, you know what I mean? But the third lap, I'm just keeping it 100. That's a whole nother level. But the third lap gear, all of that swag is out. Cop it. Mind Your Mentals podcast, that's coming out real soon. Through Breaking T. So just excited about that stuff, man. Been grinding with the podcast. But always happy to see real ones getting it, man. And so, y'all know how I feel about Mallee. That's the homie. That's the young boy, man. So excited about that. But more than anything, just excited to be talking this draft. You already know how it is, man. You know how excited I get about this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like it's like Christmas. Like I just went into my boss's office. I let him know, like, I'm taking Thursday and Friday off. Where you going, Gayle? Where you going? I'm not going anywhere. It's a draft day. It's important. I'm not going nowhere except, I mean, we are going, a couple of us going to the draft Eagles draft party on draft night. I know I know Chris is going to be right in front of the television, glued with his headphones on, sound. Nothing to bother him on that day. I think, I mean, everybody has their own prep for draft day. Usually we do a live stream. We're going to be doing a live stream on Friday, all of Friday and all of Saturday. For if you draft geeks want to just come in together and drop in and drop out, we'll be around all day. I'll be streaming for 7 hours each day. So a lot of time for everyone. Bro. A lot of time for everyone to talk draft. So if you guys are in the chat and wanted to join the show and jump on, this is the show to do so on Friday and Saturday. But tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about NFL Draft Superlatives. So pretty much just trying to we got 10 superlatives. We can freelance as well, but just in general, just to get some juice going for the draft and get some people to think about some prospects we've been looking at. Love to tap into your draft minds. You guys ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Let's get it done.
And we got a mock draft, y'all. So if you want to join the mock draft at the end of this, feel free to do so. It's going to be interesting because me, Chris, and Matt, Prime and Evan and I think myself did one, and then we did one with Mal. Now we're going to have to figure it out. Bang the table. You ready for this? These are going to be arguments, or we're going to be the draft room that fist bumps?
I think we'll be.
I don't think it's gonna be arguments, but yeah, we'll see.
Okay, all right. So starting off with our first superlative, I'll let Chris start off first. Bringing it up here. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Mallee, where you gonna be for the draft? You gonna be in Cali?
Nah, bro. So I wish I was out in Vegas because I got a text this morning and it was from the producer of Chris Long's show, and he goes, "Yo, bro, you're gonna be out in Vegas with us," and I'm like, no, but I wish. He's like, man, like we got the whole casino because they're sponsored by WinBet, and the Win has a whole casino. And I'm like, bro, like I almost spur the moment, just like got on a plane with the Las Vegas because I'm like, dude, an entire casino and weekend with Chris Long and all the other NFL guys, like that would be crazy.
I wish I was going, man.
Yeah, dude. I'm just gonna be at home, man. Gayle hit me up with the invite for the stadium, and JT hit me up too. And he's like, man, I can't believe like you don't want to do it. I'm like, I've been on the field enough times where like I've got to enjoy it. And if you haven't been on the field or going to the draft party, I highly encourage it. But for me, like the last time I was there, it was like too much of a headache because like I try to like chill and just like lock in on like the draft and everything, and like it's difficult. Like if I'm not doing the show with you guys and like talking to everyone in the chat, like I just like being like with
locked in
because like I live for the draft. I love the draft. It's too much, man. When you're at the stadium and you got like little kids running on your Jordans and stuff, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I missed out last year, but I was kind of like we've been doing this live for the last couple of years, so I mean it's definitely a good vibe. But getting to these superlatives. Here's the first one, y'all. People in the chat, if you want to join in. So here's the first one, Chris. You up first. Prospect who instantly live up to the hype. I heard that saying, "Don't believe the hype," but you know who's a prospect that is going to live up to the draft hype?
So this has been my guy. It's still my guy. I think it's going to be Jermaine Johnson. I think that he is a day one plug and play starter. I think he's a guy that can fit any scheme. He is top notch in the run game, and he's an 11 plus sack guy in college and last year. And unfortunately, anyone I talk to keeps on saying the Giants are like, we're taking him with one of our top picks. And I'm like, killing me. Because I love Jermaine Johnson. If he's on the Giants, that's going to kill me inside. Because that kid's legit. And I just don't see how he's not going to have a really good first year and a really good career in general.
Jermaine Johnson, I like that one.
Absolutely.
Mal, who you got?
I'm going Jordan Davis, man. I was going between him and Sauce, but I'm gonna go Jordan Davis. I think Jordan Davis would be real special in the league. But so much of this really depends on position fit, right? Like depends on what scheme you go to. Like nobody's a can't miss if you go to the wrong scheme. But yeah, I'm gonna go Jordan Davis. I think that if you put him in a 2 gap, even if you 1 gap him, as a 3 technique, I think that he can really be disruptive. A lot of this depends on his ability to maintain his weight, right? Like if he balloons up too big, then limits how many snaps he can play. But in my opinion, Jermaine, I agree with Jermaine Johnson. Jordan Davis is special, man, and I think that in the right system, he could be a difference maker.
Now, talking about Jermaine, a guy, man, I feel like he's got a lot of tools. I think he's very well rounded as an edge rusher. I think, he's got that mean streak in him. He's got that dog in him that you like. Talk about the freaky traits of Jordan Davis. I feel like he's a guy that at the end of the day, you can't take away some of the things he does. I mean, for his size, the way he gets off the ball sometimes, it's you're trying to like figure out what he's going to be at the next level. And if he gets that NFL body and that NFL mindset, that could be a freaky combination. But I'm going to go different. I'm going to go. It took me a little bit. I feel like everyone knows I'm a Garrett Wilson stan, but I've fell in love with the idea of a Jameson Williams. I feel like his speed, his explosiveness. At the end of the day, that's a trait that he's got kind of locked up. If he can become a new, he's got some nuance to his route running. I think at the end of the day, that's the kind of asset that NFL teams all across the league want to have in their offense. So I think that hype is real when it comes to Jameson Williams. I'm gonna look in the chat.
He's a game breaker, bro.
Yeah,
he's the type of dude that quick slant, hitch, running the 9 route, right? Like he can break the game in so many ways. He can hit you at 3 different levels. That body type, we saw what Devontae was able to do as like a little slighter frame dude. But Jameson is taller, so got to see if that body type could hold up in the NFL if he could add some mass. But that dude could fly. I'm a Drake London stan. Like everybody that know that I'm all about Drake London. But Jameson, man, he could do things that not many of the wide receivers can do in this draft at his height, like that height, weight, speed.
So in the chat, Kevin is saying Sauce is a beast. Yeah, he's another guy. He's another guy that he's got all the makings of being a talent. Let's see, Mike Dunn. He says his is Trayvon Walker. Very interesting prospect he's all over the board, but nowadays we're top overall, top 5.
Yeah. Vegas got him the odds that he's number 1, bro.
You guys, do you want to speak to that? Do you think Trayvon Walker is gonna go top pick overall?
No, I think it's all smoke just to push people down.
Yeah.
They did look into it. They did look into it a lot, but they really kind of have like the one ABC with their guys. So like Walker's just up there because people are trying to tempt someone that wants him to move up because Jacksonville, like any of the top 4 guys they like, and they're kind of interchangeable in their mind because they need it all. They need an edge rusher and they need a tackle. So it's kind of like whatever for them. But they re-signed Robinson, so I could see them just maybe moving back a little bit and getting like Hutchinson or Thibodeau, but maybe Walker later. But they're kind of interchangeable. So I don't really see him going 1 because the value is not there if they can get someone to move up.
For me, it's tough, man. Like those Georgia players, like there's so much talent on that defense that it's kind of hard to individually evaluate the dudes, right? Like I'm a huge Jordan Davis fan. You have Nakobe, but like in reality, this Walker skyrocketing. I was reading Bob Quinn's write-up on Go Long earlier, and a lot of it is attributed to the fact that like he blew up in the combine, and so he's getting some Mike Mamula sort of comparisons. I like Walker. He's disruptive, but to go number 1 over Hutchinson or even Thibodeau for that matter, I feel like that's a stretch, man. I feel like you really try and get cute, and number 1 pick overall, that's not the time to get cute.
I would take Jermaine over him.
I would definitely take Jermaine over him without a question.
It's not even close.
Like the thing I think some teams like, oh, you can move him around. You can put him in different interchangeable spots. I hit him in like a NASCAR package. He'd give some guards some fits. So I get it, but like top overall pick is supposed to be slam dunk, set it and forget it. I'm not there with him.
He's 271, so it's not like he's 280 with that skill set, right? 285 with that skill set. You know what I mean? Like that's what made Aaron Donald an anomaly. Like he's 271, and so yeah, you can kick him inside versus some guards, but like you put him against the wrong guard, he's gonna get mauled to death, right? Like they're gonna kick him inside and double team him with the center, he's gonna get mauled to death. And so I don't know that Trayvon is somebody I will go number one. I think Hutchinson probably goes number one. Short arms, but like his motor is bananas.
Now D Morg, his prospect is Garrett. Garrett cannot be guarded and wins at the last. Garrett's just he's an overall rounded, very well rounded prospect. I think he's explosive. Also an Eagle fan, kind of fits the perfect match. I think Garrett Wilson is actually he's going. I think he's going to be the first off the board,
taken.
or unless JMO goes earlier. We got people already clamoring up to trade up for 3 for Sauce. Okay, over 3. That's a little spicy. It's spicy.
Gonna cost way too much.
Yeah, I don't think.
What about 6?
You move off us.
I mean, that's another.
You said that's the first and the
still
third,
gonna
right?
cost a lot more than that.
I mean, when we did the numbers the last time, just looking at like the pick allocations for points wise, it was a first and a third to move up from where they are 15 to 6, which isn't wild, but I would assume if it's going to be a competition
it's a second.
to get up to that spot,
it's actually a
first and a second. Oh, okay, yeah, nah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's at least a second. I'm like
1050 and then 390 gets you to around like 1440 year round and some change. And if they're willing to move back, I mean, if that's the spot maybe, or they make a deal with the Jets on a trade.
I think that's already done. That's already done. No, like it's in place. Like if the person is at 10. That's already done. Joe Douglas and Howie already have it in place.
Yeah, and they got their handshake.
That's already done. It's gonna be I don't know why in what world it's gonna happen, but that's all I keep hearing, that Hamilton's sliding for some reason. If it's Hamilton, Sauce, or Stingley is falling to 10, they're gonna move that.
Yeah,
which is completely fine. Completely fine.
That would be love. That would be love.
Absolutely.
Moving right along to our second superlative. See, I got it out that time. Superlative. Most likely to fall out of the top 10. Look how sad Mans looks. Very upset. I don't even know who that Mans is. So most likely to fall out of the top 10. Speaking of what Chris just talked about, but who would be that guy for you, Chris?
Falling out of the top 10, man, I would say, dude, there's so much talk right now. That's why it's tough, because I think that if anything, it might end up being. I think Hamilton's 100% still gonna go top 10, because someone's gonna take him maybe at 10. It might be us. I'm gonna say Andrew Booth, because that's someone that was talked about a little bit in the top 10, but that injury. But he's not. I can't even count him, man. It's tough. I would say Jameson Williams maybe, just for the injury, because he was a bona fide top 10 pick before the injury. So if anything, him. But he still could go in the top 10. That's a really tough one, because it's really that weird right now. The top 10.
Yeah, it's tough. We got Kenny Pickett vibes falling out of the top 10. Adam Michael Gibbs says Kyle Hamilton. D Morgan in the building says Kyle. Let's see. Let's go to Mal. Who you got?
Yeah, for me, it's between Hamilton and Stingley. I think that Hamilton, just his, like, going back to watch the tape, I like him as a prospect, but then you sort of cross-reference it with some of the athletic on-field stuff, like the actual numbers themselves. It's hard to say, right? Like, you know, is he somebody that's going to end up having to be like more in the box versus somebody that can play the deep third? And then Stingley Jr., like him as a prospect, but after his freshman year, didn't really leave much on tape, dealing with a lot of injuries. And so Mallee had mentioned Booth, right? Like you've seen a couple of guys, even potentially Trent McDuffie, pass him as far as like those top corners in the draft. And so if I had to just nail one, I'm going to go Stingley dropping out the top 10, not really just because of talent as much as like injury concerns and questions about whether or not he'll hold up for a 17 game season now.
That's interesting. You know, I was thinking about, you know, that whole Hamilton, like once I started thinking about how teams viewed him, do they view him as a safety who can cover, you know, slot run, wide receivers, you know, the shifty kind, or do they see him a guy who's going to cover these tight ends? And I think that's more of his lane. I do think he's got range, but I think with his football IQ, he makes up for a lot of space with how he sees the field. But he's definitely not Lewis Cine fast, like on the back end. Like I think Lewis Cine can run. I don't think, but I think, you know, again, at the end of the day, like I trust this dude on the back end of our defense. I just think it would be exactly what we're looking for.
But I think it's like you asking him to do something a little bit different, right? Like in the cover two shell versus coming down and having to go against like a shifty slot receiver. His hip fluidity is not somebody that's going to be able to play in that kind of space with different option routes, right? Like I don't know that I want him up at the line of scrimmage versus the slot receivers, tight ends all day. And then definitely playing deep and being able to see it in front of him, click and close by all means. But like I said, Stingley for me, but I would not be surprised if Hamilton starts to slide on draft day.
Now Todd says Kyle Hamilton is going to be the next Taylor Mays is my fear. Oh, that's a nice USC pull.
But Taylor Mays didn't have the like football IQ part, right? Like he was a specimen, but he didn't really know the game. I would say Kyle Hamilton is smart enough to adapt.
Yep.
Brandon asks percentage of Howie moving up. We're gonna actually, that's one of our superlatives, but percentage of Howie moving up. Quick.
51%.
69%.
Oh, nice.
That's you know what I like. That's my favorite number right there. So
nice.
That's
Got
it.
you. I got it.
I'm gonna go. I think the board warrants a move up here. I'm gonna go 71%.
Playing the prices right out here.
Let's see. Todd is saying I'd rather go Petrie over Scene or Scene. Hey, bring one in. Yes. Puga saying 69. Nice. So moving right along to our let's see. Size and speed prospect everyone needs to know about. What do you got on it? What do you got on? Size and speed prospect everyone needs to know about. We'll go Mallee.
I mean, my guy, Christian Watson. I mean, this is the dude that has had the most like prolific draft season, and all the offseason was unbelievable. I mean, you can even lump Jordan Davis on there. That dude's a freak of nature. But Christian Watson is legitimate 6'3.5", 220, runs in the 4.3s, catches everything, and people were like, he checked off every box because before the Senior Bowl, everyone's like, all right, this dude looks like he's playing like easy mode on Madden, but everyone's like, oh, the competition. But then Gayle and I and all the staff on NFL staff sees firsthand he's cooking everyone at the Senior Bowl. All the SEC guys, all the Big Ten guys, Kobe Bryant, who won best cornerback in the entire nation. He's giving every single person business. He's too fast. He's too strong. He has arguably some of the best hands in the draft. I mean, I think Christian Watson is one of the biggest freaks in the draft, and his stock is going up a lot, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with him. But I think Christian Watson's probably the most interesting prototype guy because him and London are like pretty close in height, but London was probably going to run like a 4.6 in his 40, but he opted out smartly. And then you got Watson running a 4.3. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he transitions to the NFL.
Interesting. Who's your size and speed prospect? Everyone needs to know about Mal.
So I'm going Jalen Davis from Alabama, the cornerback, 1 year starter, somebody that people don't really have a lot of information about. And I actually came across Davis watching Alabama film, and he just kept popping on tape. I'm like, who the hell is this corner making all of these plays? Went back, did a little bit of a deep dive on him. And he's somebody that I feel like will ultimately end up going higher than a lot of folks are predicting him to go. I would not be surprised if he ends up going like end of day 2. Then coming into like the sort of draft season, off season, I should say, he was somebody that was going to go like day 3. But ran a 4.39, has 34.5-inch vert, 14 on the press at the combine. And that 6'1", almost 200 pounds, man. I mean, really fits the height, weight, speed prototype of what you look for a boundary corner. Really highly recruited out of high school. And it kind of all clicked for him in his last year. I know that there, usually red flags for folks that really don't produce until their final season. But when you're talking about guys at Alabama, look at who's ahead of them usually, right? And so you're playing behind ultimately the best players in the country. And so, you see some guys produce late at Bama that arguably would have been 4-year starters at lesser schools. So Jalen Davis, man, somebody that I've been banging the table for. I wish I could get a one-on-one with him versus Christian Watson out of curiosity just to see how he holds his own with a big dog like that. But yeah, man, I'm excited about Davis, and I would love to see him be an Eagle, man. I think in 2 years he could be one of the best corners in the game for sure, 2 to 3.
My size and speed prospect, Tariq Woolen. He's a guy, former wide receiver. It's not every day you see a guy that size that can move like he does. I think he's still raw. Just being a wide receiver for the last. He's got that mindset that you like, but the guy who moves low 4.3s. It was a 4.26, but if it's a 4.3 range for that size, I mean, you can play man, can play zone. I think if you're looking for a big corner at the next level and a guy that you could mold, we got Adam Michael Gibbs with the same mindset. I mean, he's a guy that it was funny because me, Chris, and Louis were at the it was day 3 of practice, and he's standing there. All 3 of us were just like, it was like one of those moments where what's his name, Pete, the coach for the Seattle Seahawks, when he looked at DK, he's just like, or was it Jonathan? The lineman from Alabama, he was just looking at him like, you know what I'm talking about? Am I alone here in this room? Okay, we'll go somewhere else.
I'm trying. There's a lot of references. I'm trying to think about what you're talking about.
Was it Jonathan Abrams? No, who's the line from?
So the lineman from who?
Alabama.
Are you thinking about when like Derrick Henry and like Mark Ingram were next to each other? Mm-hmm. Or are you thinking about
Evan Neal?
No, you're talking about dude from Baylor. You're talking about
from
Sean Oakman.
That's another dude. Oakman was huge. Nice pull. Let's see. Hayes says, man, has the draft class been the fastest of all time? So many sub 4.3, sub 4.4, 40 times freaky athleticism this year. Do you think it was the track? Or am I being...
Well, it was a brand new track, but I think on top of it, the guys are all specifically training just for the drills. Because when we were talking to Chad Muma, all those guys are out of Exos. They're all out in Cali. They're all out in Florida. Like right after their college football season's done, all they're doing is the 40 bench press. So all they're doing is all the combine stuff, and they're not focusing on anything, dude. Because who was it that was talking? Oh, dude, Khalil Shakir, when we had our interview with him, they thought he was going to run like a 4.5 or something, and then he ran the 4.3. And, like, he even surprised himself. when he was talking to us about that. Khalil was like, oh yeah, like they were like, yeah, you're gonna run like a 4.5, 4.5. Then all of a sudden he ran a 4.3.
I also think that like the fact that this class is just stacked because of that COVID waiver year, and so you have a bunch of dudes that might not have been eligible this year. So you just have a pool of talent that's just bananas. And then add on top of that, like Mallee said, all they do as soon as the season, some of them opting out of bowl games just to go and train, right? And so like when you're training for that moment, shit, you better bring it. Dudes that messed it up, I'm like, are you really ready for this moment? You know, because all you did was train for this and you got in front of the lights on a fast track and you fumbled the bag. What you doing, my boy?
Well, that's something you Traylon Burks. You're like, if this is fast track and everyone's running fast, like how are you running? You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is.
But sometimes, you know, dudes are just some dudes are just football players. They're not track stars. You know what I mean? They're not dudes that are gonna get busy in shorts and t-shirts. Like when they put the pads on, they alphas. And I think Traylon Burks, you know, a couple of dudes like that, David Bell, football players, man. They just put on the pads and produce.
12 reps at the bench didn't bother you either?
Oh, I've been off Traylon Burks, bro.
I was like, yo, if I could do that at my size when I was playing, bro, you like to me that's like I don't want to say that's the reason why I'm like I'm just saying I'm looking at other smaller things. I'm like, bro, how did you not? Anyway,
for me, Traylon Burks stood still when a bunch of other people jumped over him. Right, because of the athletic components and because you got a chance to see them perform well at the combine and their pro days, whereas Burke really is just like, you got to believe the tape, because I don't really think that he's that unathletic, but ultimately you see these other dudes just blowing the roof off of shit. So I'm like, okay, I'm moving them up, and like he's still kind of standing still at where he is.
It's not like you take it. It's just that matter of like when you get in the first round, you want it to be pure. Like there's got to be no question marks. No, every stone is turned over, and you feel good about. You know, there's no skeletons. There's no, concerns in that fashion. But moving right along. Our next one, generational talent. That's a big word to be thrown around here. Generational talent. I might have spelt that wrong too. Generational talent. Who would you be your generational talent? I think I might know what Mallee's going to say. I'm guessing.
You said me?
I'm going with
Mallee.
Mallee, yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't know if there's a generational talent that you can just like say, because that's why there's no consensus number one pick. But I will say this. I think that out of the group, I'm picking Jermaine Johnson. I think that I think Jermaine Johnson is the guy. I had been stuck on this before the Senior Bowl. Then I saw him at the Senior Bowl, and there's something special about that kid. I really like a lot of players in there. I even think that Kyle Hamilton, let's see if it's just football and he just doesn't test well too. But I think Jermaine Johnson is like that dude. He is ridiculous at the point of attack. He's one of the best run stoppers. He's going to be, I think he could be a double-digit sack guy after like a year or two in the league. And like, that's generational. Like, let's say this dude plays 10 years and he's getting 8 to 10 sacks. Like, that's a 100 sack guy right there. And that's big time. And that's why it's killing me that the Giants keep saying, we're taking him.
That's nasty. I don't want to.
Because I don't like that. Because Jermaine Johnson, man, like meeting him, getting to talk to him, like he was very impressive on and off the field. And that's a guy that if he somehow got by them and he's in like the 7 to 10 range, I'm moving up for him. Like, obviously, like I liked who we got on the line, but if you can get possibly the best edge rusher in the entire class later, you do that.
Shout out to the chat again. Sauce from D Morgan. Todd saying Jordan Davis. Feast with Pete with Ahmad Sauce Gardner. The Pete, Sauce man.
What up, Pete?
Shout out to Tim. He says Sauce or Davis. Paul from London Town weighing in with Sauce. Mike is going with Aiden Hutchinson. Birdman with the joking, crying, laughing emoji.
Oh hell no.
Corral. Kevin with the Sauce's generational talent. Quentin saying that we're speaking into existence that the Eagles are getting Stingley. Interesting. Brandon says, I want to see the Eagles jump the Giants at 7 and take a player that the Giants want. I want Kayvon. I guess that would be your generational potentially. It's funny how Kayvon has, it's not like he slipped out of top 10, but he's fluctuating from, and we're hearing all the rumors.
It's just the interviews, man. It's literally just the interviews. Anyone that I talked to, they said that he's very mature, where he's saying, I am a football player because it's going to help me get to where I want to be in life. Not I'm a football player because I love football. Like, he's already talking about business deals and like business ventures and like being in a booth after. And people are like, well, do you love football? He's like, I like football because it's going to get me to where I want. And that's why people are worried about that, because it's like, is he going to slouch because he doesn't love it, or is he going to really try for a couple years to get paid and then kind of like bounce? That's why people are worried about it. But everyone knows Thibodeau has like the craziest upside.
So I mean, what if he wants to be Elon Musk? What if he wants to buy Twitter? Like, what if he wants to be a generational whiz kid out in the tech space? Hey, not everyone just wants to be a football player. I get it. I get it. But it is weird. I keep hearing that. Generational talent. Mal, did you give me your guy?
No, my dude is Kayvon Thibodeau, man. I think all of this stuff is overrated, bro. I think all of this talk about he doesn't love football, he's Hollywood, like, that's bullshit, bro. Like, they want dudes that just say they love football and forget about every other aspect of life. And that's why most of these dudes is broke as soon as they leave the NFL, right?
Yep.
Like, I want somebody that has the foresight to know that they won't play forever. If the wrong injury, missing on an opportunity, whatever it may be, you got to have an understanding of what else it is that you want to do. And the fact that, like, he's already that locked in, I'm not gonna call that immaturity. You want him to lie to you, or you want him to tell you the truth?
That's
I'm mad at him telling you the truth.
That's maturity.
Like,
he
that's
knows
the epitome of maturity to me, right? And so, I think that as long as you can keep him locked in, and as long as he understands that it takes a level of commitment in the NFL that he's probably never had to actually commit to be successful, by all means. But Kayvon Thibodeau, I mean, we talking about a dude that coming into this year was the guy, right? And then all of this other stuff, he got injured, and all of the talk, he doesn't love the game and he's not smart, and all of this other bullshit came out. I mean, to be honest, bro, it's a lot of coded language involved in that kind of stuff, because if Aiden Hutchinson was talking about all of these things, it would be perceived very differently. He's smart, he's intelligent, he sees the future. But this black young man from Los Angeles is talking that, and he's Hollywood. So, not buying it. Thibodeau, to me, if we're talking a generational talent, it's Kayvon Thibodeau.
Oh, look at you banging the table. Hey man, if you could get explosive edge like that, so be it. Imagine. There's so many. I'm not gonna say there's so many, but I do think Sauce has all the makings to be. He's got the size, the speed, the length. I think that the makeup is there. I think he's a guy. I'm talking about Cincinnati, man. Guys out, Cincinnati bringing up some players these days. I think he's a guy that he's a set it and forget it type of dude. So I think he's special.
He's a willing tackler, bro. Right? Like for a lot of these corners on the outside and even the slot, Khair Elam is a dude I like, but he just doesn't give the effort when it comes to tackling. If you're gonna be generational, you got to be the full package. And so, man, Sauce brings it in every aspect of the game.
Interesting. We are moving right along, trying to do our best, giving you the juice here. Let's see. Our next is mid-round running backs. Your mid-round running back that you're kind of banging the table for. We'll go Mal first on this one.
Yeah, it's a couple interesting ones, man. To be honest, but mine is Damian Pierce from Florida. One of the dudes that
That's mine.
doesn't have a lot of tire. He doesn't have a lot of tread on his tires, or he does have a lot of tread, I should say. They never used him full time. He can catch, he can run. Don't really see a ton of tape of him pass blocking, but he has the physical capability. I would believe that he could get the job done. So, I would love to see him as an Eagle. I think he could get it done between the tackles, outside. Everything you're looking for, in my opinion, Pierce can do. So that's the dude that if I had to listen, that's the guy I got to bang the table for. That would be it for me.
Interesting. So you're both.
Yeah, he's one of them. I mean, when we were down at the Senior Bowl, that was the guy that was just doing everything right, and then everyone by the second day was like, "Yo, who is this dude? He's literally scoring every single time."
Right.
And he was so good with the ball out of the backfield. I mean, I really like Rashad White out of Arizona State. He's a value guy. Zamir White was really good too. And Jerome Ford from Cincy has some dog in him. That's the thing, though. This draft is perfect for the Eagles. We have a lot of fifth round ammo right now, and that's when you're going to find value at tight end. Oh, and we have 2 third-round picks. You're going to find value at tight end, running back. I mean, that's where all the value is in this draft, because there's going to be edge rushers that can start for most teams that are going to be there in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. You're going to find starting running backs in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, maybe even 6th round. And the same for tight ends, though. Greg Dulcich was a guy that no one really knew going into the draft. And then all of a sudden, Dulcich was the guy at the Senior Bowl. That's why when you talk about these running backs, we got to get one of them, because Kenneth Gainwell might end up being a bona fide stud for us, depending on how Miles Sanders turns out this year. And we got him as a huge value last year. So why don't you do the same thing? You got to keep adding to the stables, because injuries happen. And with the type of scheme that we run, you need to have a healthy and versatile stable of running backs.
And I just don't want Gainwell being your 1A, right? I don't want to rely on him as the between the tackles pounder. He adds so much value in other places. Don't wear him down doing something that he's not necessarily that good. Not that he's not good at, but that's not his go-to skill set.
Yep, exactly.
My guy is James Cook. And when I'm thinking about James Cook, I'm thinking about the value of what he could be in a running back by committee. You're talking about a guy who you don't have to throw him out there right away, but he's a guy on passing downs. He can give you some juice. Talk about him in space, running backs. Him in space versus linebackers. It's kind of a mismatch. I think the vision I like, the way he sets up defenders. Is he gonna run? Is he gonna run through the pile with his hair on fire, or is he gonna find the holes and slither and get his yards? I think he's a crafty runner. So I like his game, and the hopes that I don't think you can get him in the 4th. You might have to get him in the 3rd, but I would love to get him in the 4th if you could, to add him to the mix. Obviously, his skill set kind of mirrors Gainwell, but I think he's a crafty guy that you could add to the mix. And right now, do you guys feel like Miles Sanders will be back?
As far as getting re-signed, I think he'll play the year out.
Being traded.
Who knows? That's a tough one to say. I think it's a good. Depends on what happens in the draft. If you pick somebody up in the draft that could fill that spot, then I feel like you kind of got to flip them just to get some value back. Just want to toss one more person out there too, Isaiah Pacheco from Rutgers. That's my dude, man. I got a chance to watch him. He adapted well to the Big Ten. Him and Bo Melton are 2 players that I think could make a lot of noise in the NFL if given the right opportunity. But Pacheco, physical back, got some good quickness, could catch the rock. Just nobody really knew about him because that offense at Rutgers was just horrendous.
Yeah, I saw a lot of. Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people are saying Breece Hall in the chat. If we're saying mid-round running backs, there's a chance that Buffalo takes him in the 1st round.
At the end of the 1st round, right? He might be the first one going.
Yeah.
Brandon with a little Hassan Haskins love in the chat. I feel Absolutely. A guy who I'm looking at late. Shout out to Hollywood, who's in love with Kenneth Walker, who wants him in the 2nd. Hollywood. shout out to those guys. I mean, shout out to him and Prime. Prime is out with the family tonight, and shout out to Evan, who is working.
Shout outs.
Working. He's working tomorrow
Yes,
too. So, these guys are working for a living. We're not all NFL draft prospects out here. We just talk about the draft because we love this shit. Moving right along, man. We're making some time. Our next one up here. Let's see. Trade up candidates. Who do you guys got for your trade up candidate? I mean, it's hard to say one, but if you got a guy that you're willing to trade up and the price is right.
In the first round? Yeah. Or in first round? Okay. I didn't know if we were using any of the other picks.
It could be other spots.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing I'm looking at the most is we're at pick 51. So that's about like 19-20 after into the second round. Like, bro, like if Pickens falls into the second round and you didn't take a wide receiver yet, that's the sweet spot. That's where you get him. That's like where San Fran got Debo a couple years ago. Like you get him right going into the second round. If you can get like Chad Muma in like the second round, that's a big value pick. It's just like that's the scary part because last year I remember like everyone was like, oh my God, like Asante Samuel Jr., Jeremiah Wusu-Koroma, like Landon Dickerson, like all these big name guys are like starting to slide down to you in the second round. And luckily we landed Landon Dickerson, but just shows you like this draft more than ever, starters, like Pro Bowlers, like all pro guys, they will be there in the second round, maybe the third round. Teams are so apprehensive on like how they feel about grading these guys right now because there's a lot of COVID holdovers right now. Some people are going to move up to get like quarterbacks at like 30, 31, 32 to get that fifth-year option. So people are going to slide. So if you want to make sure that you get your Dalvin Cook, like we missed out a couple years ago when the Vikings jumped us, if you want to get that type of guy, it's okay to move up a little bit. We have 3 fifth-round picks right now. So if you move a fifth-round pick with pick 51 and you make sure you get George Pickens in the 30s, you make sure you get like Chad Muma in like the 40s. And if you make sure you get Jaquan Brisker, Cini, Daxton Hill, like these type of guys that are plug-and-play starters, it's worth giving the fifth-round pick up to get them. And that's why I like those safeties there, especially Petrie, Cini, Daxton Hill, and Brisker especially. Brisker's a guy, 112 covered snaps last year, 0 receptions allowed. Like, that's my guy from Penn State. So that's where I'm looking at trade up if we got to move up from 51 in the second round.
So we got people very spicy in the chat. We have Rack Shack with Brisker. We have George Pickens from Tim. London Town Paul is saying Sauce. Feast with Pete, round 2, trading it up for Travis Jones. Brad going Gardner. Jameson Williams says Kevin. Brandon says Kayvon, Sauce, and Stingley. Right. We got Cut Me Open Bleed Green with Sauce. Feast with Pete, Jermaine Johnson. Like a lot of those guys, I'm feeling that. Like I feel like if you got your number one edge in Jermaine Johnson, if he's their number one edge and he's lingering around 10, go get your mans. I think Hamilton, Stingley, again, all those guys are, I think, set it and forget it starters. Damn, that would be nice. Would you trade up for Garrett Wilson at 10?
I wouldn't personally.
I wouldn't. I would not. I think it has to be one of the D-backs, or if like one of the edge guys magically
Johnson,
falls,
one of those dudes there.
Like if Jermaine Johnson or Thibodeau is like falling to 10, you move up. But as much as I love Garrett Wilson, I think he's like the Odell Beckham type dude in this draft. Like, but it's just tough, man. It's really tough. All these years of taking, obviously, you got to get the recipe right, and you got to keep taking swings at wide receiver to get it right. But I do think that the way our team's designed, we have a hole at cornerback 2 right now. We don't know what Zach McPherson is going to be. And we don't really even have a safety 2 right now that's like a stud. So, like, Hamilton there, starter. And move up for Sauce, starter. Like, that's why it's hard to move up for Garrett Wilson. Even though he would be a starter, it's a little different.
See, I could be cool with a cornerback, like say, Stingley. If you locked in Stingley, that'd be dope. And then fall back and get that you get Olave as a some people might feel like he goes a little bit early, but if if your next best bet was Olave and you got a starting corner, I could be sold on that.
That's the main reason why I wouldn't move up for Wilson. It's just because there's so many contingency plans for a wide receiver. Like, there's so many of those dudes that are like first round, early to mid second round that can contribute. That, I mean, aside from and I don't even know that I would move up for Jameson, right? And I like him. I think he's a game breaker, but there's so many talented guys at wide receiver. I think, again, like Mallee said, corner or defensive end. For me, I'm gonna go a couple dudes off the beaten path. So as outside of the first round, sort of like Mallee did. But my dude was Arnold Ebiketie from Penn State.
Yes.
Performed pretty well at Temple, went bananas at Penn State. For me, he's one of those dudes that like may very well sneak into the end of the first round. I'm not saying move up that high to get him, but if he's falling into like the mid to late 40s and we haven't taken the edge rusher, moving up from 51 makes a ton of sense. My other person would be Kobe Bryant. I continue to pound the table for Kobe Bryant. I'm a firm believer that he can develop into a really good CB2 in the NFL. That pick 101 for me is like the money spot for him. If he's falling past, we probably don't take him at 83. But when you're looking past 83, if he's falling still, moving up from 101 into like the late 80s, early 90s for Kobe Bryant will make a ton of sense. And to have him be able to learn from Slay, I think would be just foundational in his development, and will really help to like shorten that learning curve for his adjustment to the NFL. So those are two dudes that I would definitely say if they fall in day 2, make a move, man, because those could be impact guys and those could be starters down the road that make a huge difference for that defense.
Shout out to you guys all in the chat, man. You guys are spicy tonight, and I love all the
I like it spicy.
Brandon says, how do you guys feel about Jabo in the second if they don't take a defensive end in the first? I mean, to get the, it's just, I just think, he's a raw prospect, and based off of his athleticism, which his game is built around, I think obviously he's going to be behind the 8 ball now. Coming back from an injury like that, not everyone rebounds like a Cam Akers after Achilles tear. Like, it's just a lot of variables, and the whole Sidney Jones thing got to be in the back of their mind. In the second round, there's so much value. I think there's a guy moving this conversation into another. We have Adam Michael Gibbs with a very.
I was just about to say it, Nick Bonito all day, bro. Yes, sir.
His thoughts on Nick Bonito at 51. Is that too early for him? Edge, cornerback, and linebacker have to be addressed early. What do y'all think about Nick and Bonito?
I like Bonito, man. I mean, I think that, and I was just looking at it, I would take Ebiketie and Bonito before I took Ojabo, just because, again, I think that like Ojabo has a steep learning curve. He has a huge adjustment to the NFL. You don't know about the explosion, and he really benefited from playing across from Hutchinson, right? Like, he didn't see nearly the amount of double teams that he would have if he would have been the stud guy. So for me, Bonito, I like Bonito. I also think that like he can really learn a lot as a stand-up edge rusher. He has the size to potentially put his hand in the dirt, designated pass rusher to start his career. But he could be disruptive, man. Like, he has the potential to be super disruptive.
Yeah, I like Bonito too. And then the one you said, pretty much all the same sentiments I would have. Cam Jurgens is the guy whose name just keeps coming up and up and up in conversations that the Eagles will not let him get by at 51 as a center prospect. And that I'd understand. It's one of those things where, like, in the first round, if you're taking a guy that's not going to play really because you're set there, don't do that. We've done that for a lot of years and it's killed us.
Right.
This is a different situation where at 51 it makes a little bit more sense. Still, you still have to weigh the options because people don't realize, like, or like won't admit it. We still have a lot of holes on this team, and I am all over the same ideas that Mal was saying. Like, I love Kobe Bryant. I brought him up earlier in the show. You have to remember these vets that we have, they're special, and you not even just on the field, off the field. You have guys like Darius Slay that can talk to Kobe Bryant, talk to any cornerback that comes in here, and that's what closes the gap and the learning gap with the rookies, and then transitioning to be vets. Having a vet like that, because some guys don't have that. They go into a team and it's chaos. It's young guys like them, and they don't get the tricks of the trade. That's why getting guys while we can is important. That's why having Mailata and Lane Johnson and all these and Peters and all those guys to be in his ear, that's huge. And you saw what happened to Mailata. It makes all the difference in the world. So I completely agree with you on that.
I think about going back to Nick Benito. I just think if you're bringing a guy who can potentially be your situational pass rusher as he learns and gets his NFL body, he's a guy that I feel like I would love to get him in the third, but the range from 51 to the third round pick, he's gonna go around that range. So I feel like if you do mess out on edge early, I think he's definitely an option. As we move along, we're doing good. I'm proud of y'all, man.
Listen,
really,
it's all business, baby.
You're answering these questions. Our next, trying to do everything at one time. Sleepers, everyone's sleeping on. A sleeper, everyone's sleeping on.
So many.
Mallee, I'll go Mallee first.
Sheesh. Yeah, it's all about. I would say it's probably all about the receivers, because the hype at the top of the draft is so crazy, like it is every year. But if you look at all the dudes getting paid right now, none of them are first-round picks. I mean, you got Stephon Diggs, late-round pick. Tyreek Hill, obviously, he got drafted later for the stupid crap he did early. But at the same time, still a value pick in the 5th round. And just look at all Devontae Adams wasn't even a first-round pick. You know what I mean? Like, that's why these guys are sleepers. And you see that translate in the draft. I mean, Jarvis Landry, absolute stud. He was a 4th-round pick, I believe. I would say I think it's our guy, Khalil Shakir, Gayle. I think that he is one of the biggest sleepers in the entire draft. He is extremely impressive. I think that he's going to translate really well in any system in the NFL. I've talked to other scouts, and they were like all excited that we sat down with him and everything, because they're like, man, that dude's the dude. Like, people love Khalil Shakir, and once you actually watch more tape on him, you're like, yeah, like I think he's got the juice, and he's going to be the sleeper. And so listen, Pete, Gayle and I were real excited to watch Bo Melton, especially Gayle. That dude, I haven't seen someone drop that many footballs in a 3-day span in my life. That dude literally was like, could not catch a football. You could hand him a football and he'll drop it. That's how bad it was. He was just in his head, and I think he shook it off, but it was bad though. Like, he dropped like 30 balls in a row. It was crazy.
On one episode, our first episode, shout out to my guy, our guy James. He was just, like, I was keying in on Bo in that first couple practices. He just got better. He got better as the practices went on. I felt like he was definitely in his head. But there's some guys in here saying Alec Feast of Peace says Alec Pierce, very interested in his game. Talk about a guy who could play X, very speedy. I like his game. I think he's a guy that's definitely being slept on. I had a couple questions here from thoughts on Anderson. Anderson is another linebacker. Kelly asked who can be a sleeper linebacker. Brandon Davidson, mentions Troy Anderson, a guy who's versatile, played quarterback, running back, linebacker. I think he was a guy who was pretty sound in space. I think he's still raw, but I think he's a guy that still learning the position. But I think movement skills. I think he's a guy that I think I think Chad Muma has moved up the ladder in terms of he's not really a sleeper these days anymore.
Yeah.
I would say Quay Walker from Georgia, Damone Clark from LSU, Channing Tindall. I'm go ahead, Molly.
No, I was gonna say, unfortunately, Damone's a guy that Gayle and I talked to down the Senior Bowl, and he was awesome. Unfortunately, he's out for the year.
That neck, man. That fusion, we'll see. But he was an absolute baller. I'm less on Channing Tindall than I am on Quay and on the Kobe, just because he seemed less instinctive. He was more like a guy that had to really see it happening in front of him. Quay Walker was a little bit further along. Yes. For my sleeper, I'm going Zion Johnson from Boston College. One of the dudes that I was not as big on, and then going into the Senior Bowl, I mean, he was dominating in one-on-ones. He was taking snaps at center, even though he spent most of his career at guard. So he had some internal line flexibility. He just killed in his one-on-one. So that caused me to go back and really watch some more tape on him. And I really like it. I think that he's somebody that's getting slept on. I think that you have some of these internal offensive linemen that are getting pushed up a little bit higher. Cam Jurgens, I went and watched him. If for whatever reason Zion was to fall and he and Cam Jurgens are on the board at the same time, I'm not hesitating to go Zion 100% of the time. And then the wide receiver, Wan'Dale Robinson. So he went to Kentucky and had just a tremendous year. But he was also doing this thing in Nebraska too. He was just in an offense that wasn't really catered to his skill set. But he went absolutely apeshit this last season as a lot of components for jet sweeps. He's going to be somebody that can really kind of only eat from the slot. But, the way that the NFL is going, these smaller dudes, man, when you scheme them open, the speed that he has, much like Jameson, he's not as fast, but his ability to break a defense down from all three levels shouldn't be slept on.
We had a question here. When did Jameson Williams tear his ACL? That was right at the very end of the season.
It's the national championship game, wasn't it?
National championship game.
Yeah. So, I mean, that sucked. Let's see here. Go moving right along. Sleeper. Everyone's sleeping. I'm going to Calvin Austin Jr. He's again a small prospect. Yeah. But the man is a psycho in terms of being at his size, doing what he does. He blows past dudes. I mean, if you're trying to be a wide receiver 4-5 on any roster, you got to have special teams ability, and I think that's where he wins. I think. Also, he's not just a slot. He's played on the outside. Go back and look at his. I keep on saying it. Go look at his reps versus Sauce. Had him in a blender for a second. Got a penalty on that. Todd asks, "What about the kid from South Carolina, Barre? I think he's more of a. Is he twitched up? I think he plays with strength for sure on the outside. I think. We got to hang out with him at the photo shoot with Sweat. He was a funny dude. Definitely. I think he's a guy who's probably going to go back into the second, potentially.
He goes that high?
He could. I mean, if you're looking at third and second, because I'm also looking at Myjai Sanders. You're talking about a guy who's slender for a defensive end, but you're talking about a speed rusher. Where do you guys have Sanders at?
No one knows where he's at.
Yeah, I mean, I had him on a 4th round, probably.
The medical stuff killed him.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Well, he lost 40 pounds after the season, and no one knows why. And then he ended up putting weight back on, but that's why it's just kind of weird because there was people talking about him the first right after the draft, right after the season, and then he showed up looking really skinny. I think it might have been, it had to be a medical thing because the amount of weight loss he had was crazy. That was some Zaire Smith stuff. And then right now he's probably pegged in mid 3rd, early 4th probably.
Yeah, that's why I had him 4th round. Somebody else that I was really I enjoy watching, Sam Williams from Ole Miss. Definitely somebody that can play the run, can give you some good strength rush or like off the edge. I think that he's probably in that same range, like third, fourth round. But to Mally's point, and like again, because of that COVID waiver, like this draft is stacked, right? Like everybody wants to talk about it's not top heavy. Okay, sure. But I've heard that before. And then the same dudes that they said wouldn't be all pros ended up all pros. But like this draft, if you're smart and if you really did your homework, you could walk away with a class this year that transforms an entire franchise. And so, hell of an opportunity for the Eagles to really turn it around, especially on defense. Looking again for like that playmaker on offense at wide receiver and or running back, even tight end, do like Charlie Kohler, right? Like he could be a hell of a tight end too. And somebody that, if necessary, could be pushed into like a tight end one spot duty. So all types of dudes in this draft, man, all types of players that you could really win with.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many prospects. I mean, to talk about. I mean, Feast Pete, some solid. Josh Pascal from Kentucky, yeah. Sam Williams from Ole Miss had a hell of a rep. Had Trevor Penning locked up. We'll get to Penning.
Somebody we didn't even talk about is Drake Jackson, right? Like that dude. I don't know that I've ever seen a player with a wider sort of like he could go second round, he could go undrafted damn near in my entire life, right? Like I don't know that I've ever seen a player that was so like people either love him or hate him, and there's very few in the middle. And so, but again, if that light switches on, you get him in the right system. Drake Jackson brings a lot of tools in his toolbox as a speed edge rusher.
Greg Dulcich from UCLA. He actually had a virtual meeting with what's his name, Kyle Phillips. Both of them playing in this Chip Kelly scheme.
Don't say that name no more, bro.
Hey,
you don't say that name around here, bro.
They both had a virtual visit with the Eagles after their pro day. Moving right along, we're almost back at the very end of before we get into our mock here. Let's see. Player most likely to get overdrafted. We'll go Mallee.
Man, this is tough. I would say if anyone goes too early, it might be Traylon Burks. If a team like tries to take him like really early in the early teens, that's someone I can definitely think of. Another, this is so tough. It's definitely going to be a receiver. 100% is going to be a receiver. And it's going to be tough though because it's one of those things where like I could see the guy working out eventually, but at the same time, like someone just jumps the value a little bit. I mean, we don't have John Gruden to do the whole take guys like 10, 20 spots ahead of they should go anymore because that's what they did with Cleveland Farrell and the Raiders that one year. That was a huge overdraft. Yeah, because like he was like tough. He was like a 25 and back kind of guy. So it's tough. I mean, I think it'll probably be. It sucks, man, because I really liked it. I really liked the dude from Minnesota. Because Boye Mafe, people say he might go in the first now. I think that he could be a first round talent, but I still think it would be overdrafting him if you take him in the first.
Oh hell yeah, without a question.
Just too many edge guys.
Yeah. Brandon from the chat says Drake London easy. Adam Michael Gibbs says Daxton Hill. Kelly says Christian Watson. Tim Hayes says Karlaftis or Jameson.
That's it. He said my dude. Yeah, that
Karlaftis,
man. It's Karlaftis for me. Somebody's going to convince themselves that he's a first round edge rusher, and they're going to take him over more impactful dudes. When you watch George Karlaftis go against other rushers, like other pass blockers, I should say, that can match his strength, he's done. That's all he has. All he can do is overpower weaker dudes. He has no counter moves realistically. He gives a ton of effort. But for me, like that's the one. Like I would say maybe, think Walker from Georgia gets overdrafted just because of his ability, but I still think that he produces in the NFL. George Karlaftis, man, I walked away watching him. I watched 7, 8 games and was like, this is not a first round pick, yo. Like, if anybody takes him in the first round, I think that they'll be severely disappointed. I'm seeing people saying that he's going to go to the Ravens as a rush outside linebacker. I think that will be a disaster in the making. But I've definitely been wrong before, so who knows? But for me, I'm going Karlaftis.
Karloff's is a guy, man. I love him as a player. Just his mental makeup and the way he's like wired. I'm rooting for his story. You know, the whole thing, winning with power. You know, is his short arms going to be a thing? Like when he gets, a Jordan Mailata, is he going to be able to overpower guys like
No.
that who are technicians? That's where you're wondering.
We know the answer to that.
That's a thing where, if you fail in the second round, then we're okay. But again, I think Karloff is a guy who could get overdrafted. Even Burks, like you mentioned, Burks as well. He's a dude that I could see being overdrafted. Moving right along, we're gonna go with a late round prospect. You take a flyer on. This is a flyer guy. I saw a comment in there about Justin Ross being, to me, a flyer guy is a guy that you take a flyer on dealing with injuries. So Justin Ross from Clemson, he's the type of dude I could take a flyer on. Because someone mentioned, is he going to fall out of the second round? I think he's, with his medicals, the way they're set up, he could be a guy that you could take a flyer on.
Yeah.
I would say this isn't even a late round guy, but his name has to be talked about. I think he's going to end up going in the fourth round or earlier, but that's Matt Araiza, San Diego State's punter. The Eagles need a punter so bad, and anyone who doesn't think – I just saw Todd say something about him in the 7th. 0% chance he's in the 7th. 0% chance he's in the 6th.
Oh, hell no.
0% chance he's in the 5th.
Yeah.
He might even go in the 3rd round because not only is he the best punter in the draft, he's one of the best punters in the last decade. Like, he's literally called the punt god for a reason. Like, this dude is as valuable as having an offensive player because he's that good at punting. You're going to get like 60, 70-yard punts, and he's going to pin you. That's a weapon, and I think he's really important. I really like the Justin Ross bringing him up. I think that I would also Charleston Rambo, who started off at Oklahoma, then he went down to the U. He has a lot of upside. I like him too. I'm trying to think. And there's definitely a couple running backs that are going to trickle down. I'm trying to remember the one dude's name. Oh, man. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. He was really impressive. But, yeah, I would say Charleston Rambo is definitely a late-round flyer wide receiver. Like, we just take one early and then take care of everything else. And at the end of the draft, just a guy that has a lot of upside because Rambo's good. I think he has a lot of potential.
You're talking about Fa'alele, maybe, if that's what you're talking about? Or is he talking about – is it Gadecki he's talking about? Yeah, man, I for the superlatives, I mean, I appreciate everybody's comments. It's been great listening to you guys speak about some of the superlatives and really in depth about some of these players, man. It's we got Prime talking about Drake London.
Yo, Prime, bro, I know where you live, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that. For me, Bailey Zapp, man, somebody that I can see, the Eagles taking up. Yeah, like I think that he can develop into a hell of a QB2. Forget that quarterback factory stuff. I think when you have a dual threat quarterback, you have to have a solid backup QB to spot start just in case. I think that Bailey Zapp is somebody that definitely has the, again with the knocks on arm strength, but he has the arm strength to make NFL throws within 20 yards of the line of scrimmage. So, he's going to make the tosses that you need. Prime, that's what's up, my brother. But yeah, so Bailey Zapp for me definitely is somebody that I would be excited to see, and I think is a flyer that would be worthwhile.
Yep.
There's one time at the Senior Bowl, the quarterbacks are throwing, and I'm kind of far off, and I see the ball thrown. I'm like, damn! I'm like, Malik's got a gun, And then Chris is like, "Nah, man, that was Bailey. That was Bailey's
Bailey could toss it, bro.
But it was Bailey that threw
it. He could get it around the yard, man. And one more, Marquis Bell, who was at Florida A&M, is a Jersey dude, somebody that really never played up to his potential. But at safety, I think you could do worse than taking a flyer on a guy that, height, weight, speed, again, like we were talking about earlier. Marquis Bell definitely checks those boxes.
Interesting. Now, moving right along, we're going to close it out with a 7-round mock. I know we are dorking it out tonight, but you got the questions. We're giving you the draft answers here. And this is going to be interesting, man, because this is the first time we've all three have done a mock draft together. It's going to be interesting. I think we're going to be very. I don't think there's going to be too many arguments here.
Be diplomatic, bro.
I think we'll be diplomatic.
I think me and Mallee agree on a lot of stuff. Since I've been doing this with him, we tend to see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. So it's Gayle, you're gonna be the problem, bro. It's always you, bro.
What? All right, for y'all who stuck it out, we are doing a mock draft, 7-round. We got Mallee, the professional scout here. We got Mal Davis going on his third lap here with us. Let's see here. We're gonna start off here. Start the draft here. Trayvon Walker goes first. Malik Willis, Sauce Gardner, Aiden Hutchinson. Stingley just went off the board to the Jets. Jermaine Johnson just went to Houston. We're not gonna do any trades for this. So on the board right now at number 15, we have Kyle Hamilton on the board, Jamison Williams, Zion Johnson, Desmond Ridder, Trevor Penning. How are we feeling? Like, are we collectively saying Kyle Hamilton here?
You have to say Kyle Hamilton.
I'm saying Hamilton. Yeah,
okay.
Nice. It's not even.
Kyle Hamilton is selected with a number 12 pick overall to the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody is geeked.
May he fall to 15, bro. That would be beautiful.
Let's see. We're at number 18. Right now on the board, Zion Johnson, Desmond Ridder, Trent McDuffie, Kenny Pickett, Chris Olave, Daxton Hill, George Karlaftis, Devin Lloyd, Kenyon Green, Khair Elam, Traylon Burks, Andrew Booth Jr., Trevor Penning just went off the board, and Jamison Williams just went off the board. Where are we feeling?
I would probably peg it down to like 4 people. I would say
McDuffie, Olave.
I would say Olave
and Booth Jr., bro.
I would say Booth. I would say, it's really hard to see. Devin Lloyd. I would say between those 3, it's probably it. I would say Booth because secondary would. I think we'd probably have the best secondary in the whole NFC East. You would have Kyle Hamilton, Andrew Booth Jr., you would have Darius Slay Jr., and you would have Anthony Harris, or you would have Kayvon Wallace, or you would have Epps. I think that's tough because I think as much as I want Olave, I love Chris Olave. You're a starting cornerback at 18 is really Booth great Jr. value. I would say Booth Jr. There's too many receivers left.
Yeah, don't even double. We'll get somebody at 51. We ain't even worried about it.
Well, where you guys stand on McDuffie?
I'm not taking them over Booth Jr. Nah, hell
yeah.
No shot.
Andrew Booth Jr.
Yes,
Jr. I mean, like Mallee said, Joe, you solidify your secondary of the future. Take 2 places where you really needed players, and you take 2 of the best players, arguably, at the position. Not having to trade up, value picks all day, man. I'm all about BPA.
Now getting closer to the 51st pick, guys are off the board. Tariq Woolen. Let's see. George Pickens just went to Kansas City.
That's the
horse.
Brisket went to the Vikings. Kenneth Walker. Sorry, Evan. Hollywood Hearn, he went to the Ravens. N'Kobe Dean, Lewis Seen went to the Falcons.
Yeah,
Christian Watson, I know Chris is shedding a tear as we
is
speak.
Chad Mooma still on the board, right?
Yeah, Mooma's on the board.
Hold on, we got on the board.
A ton of people on the board.
On the board right now, we have Quay Walker, Christian Harris, linebacker for Georgia and Alabama. Travis Jones is still on the board from UConn. Ebiketie, the edge.
Ebiketie screaming out to me, bro.
Jalen Petrie.
Petrie.
We already got a safety, though.
I was going to say, do you double up, though, that? I don't know if that's the best value.
Roger McCreary's on the board. Chad Mooma. It's, do we
see, this is the dream, because if this happens in the real life draft, this is when I'm moving the 3rd and a 5th, and I'm moving right back into this round because there's too many people there. You can't miss out on that. This is literally what we talked about earlier. Like in the 2nd round, this is the franchise
money spot. Yeah.
This is where you get. This is where you go from a team that makes the playoffs to a team that wins a Super Bowl. Because with this many guys in the 2nd round, these are all starters on our team. These are starters on any team. I would say it has to be between a linebacker.
I mean,
I love Ebiketie. It's just really tough. Like
Petrie would be not. We got Kyle Hamilton.
Yes. Went Hamilton already.
What receivers are left right now, Gayle? I can't see.
Mechie is
Calvin Watson, Mechie,
David Bell, Calvin Austin, Cole Strange. I think if we can get Alec Pierce in the next round, he might go earlier than that.
I don't know that wide receiver is really.
I don't think this is not where we go wide receiver. There's no one worth.
Because Pickens just went off the board. So, I mean, what do you think about Ebiketie?
I would love the Ebiketie pick. Christian Harris, I wouldn't be mad at. Quay Walker, I wouldn't be mad at. It's like, it's
linebacker edge. That's definitely what we're down to.
What about Travis Jones here?
That's the thing, though. He's not gonna play. That's the problem. Because that's why Ebiketie's even question mark, because he's not gonna play. That's why it's real tough because if you
I think Ebiketie will get burned, bro.
He would get burned, but he's not a starter. You know what I mean? Like Mooma's a starter, Quay Walker's a starter, Christian Harris is a starter. That's the difference, though. And it's not even like you're taking them just because it's position in need. They're all starters. They're good.
You think they start over who in the linebacking core? Because that top 2, I mean, it's pretty much locked in. I don't know that Kazir White is coming off the field.
I think it's right now, Kaiser White's the only guy locked in.
Christian Harris, Quay Walker. I mean, you said it and forget it.
Chad Mooma.
I'm probably looking at these top 2 over Mooma, to be honest. I'm probably going Christian Harris.
I'm not even mad at Ebiketie either, man. Like you talk about.
My pick is Ebiketie. I think that he could be a difference maker from day one as a situational pass rusher, and then it definitely steps into a starting role when you have a guy that's older that might walk away. And then I don't have much faith in whatchamacallit.
I'm really not mad at adding the situational pass rusher.
That's my problem, though. It's because it's a I think Ebiketie's way better, but that's the problem with the Eagles. So we need linebackers still, and that's why I'm saying right now we're 5 deep at edge, and we have. It's tough because I love Ebiketie. That was my guy. That was one of my big guys down at the Senior Bowl. But
so my question for you is with the linebackers that are available, right? Versus who could be available at 83. Is the drop off bigger between Ebiketie to the next defensive end in the 3rd round? Or is it bigger from these top linebackers to whoever could be available in the 3rd round?
Absolutely, the linebackers.
Piece of P to say Mooma Harris.
If we go on linebacker Harris.
Todd saying Quay.
Any 3 of those are fine. I just think it has to be a linebacker. As much as I love Ebiketie, I think that there's going to be an edge rusher that we're very happy with. That's an upside guy like Ebiketie. Not as good, but like Ebiketie that can sit behind them. And you're not going to be real annoyed. You know what I mean? This our draft, Pete. Our draft. if this was the Eagles draft, we wouldn't have Kyle Hamilton or Andrew Booth. So,
yo, I mean, that's what you think. Like, you just like, yo, I mean,
we're trying to make your dreams come true.
There's some juice on the board. So I mean, you want to go? What do you guys want to do? Walker? You want to do?
I'm going Harris if we're taking a linebacker.
Take Harris. It's fine. Any of the three
What do
are
you
fine.
think?
Let's
You
just
think Muma? You seem like you lean in Muma, bro. That's what you want.
I like Muma, but I've had my input on everything.
All right, go ahead. Go Muma. I mean,
I love Chad.
I love Chad too. But
I think
Harris
any
is
of the
the
three
best
are
of
fine.
the three. But if you want to go Muma.
Gayle, you're the split decision.
Damn, bro, you gonna put me on the spot like that?
You're the third one.
Because I was at Quay. And then I'm like, I could be talked into Epsiode too.
Here's my thing.
Epsiade's off
Any of
the
the
board.
three, any of the three start for us. So that's where I'm at.
This is true.
Go Muma. I'm on the Muma train.
Oof, Chad Muma. Talk to prospects, Chad Muma.
Look at my man Epsiode went to Arizona right after.
I could still be talking. Hey, so
I know someone that we like at edge is going to be there though.
Bro, we don't got no. We haven't gone offense yet.
The board dictating to us, bro. Your boy Khalil right there.
I'm saying don't bug like Howie.
All right.
I mean, for me, it's between those top two, Shakir or Sam. I would love Sam Williams. Again, that back to that edge.
See what I mean, though, bro? There's an edge guy right there. The draft's so deep with edge, man. We're just gonna keep finding them.
But to be honest, I feel like like Troy Anderson has a chance to be special if he could figure it out, right? Like I think that there's a pretty big gap between Epsiode and Sam Williams as far as like what they're going to produce in the NFL. But I also I would be cool with Shakir if y'all looking to go wide receiver.
My whole thing, and I completely agree with you. It's just one of those things. Like in the second round, like I want a starter because as much as I think Epsiode could be really good and is really good, I just think it's.
Yeah, you got Alec Pierce.
I would say Khalil, Pierce, or
you want to go for Pierce here?
That's tough, man. Because Khalil's there, but
I think that might be a stretch overtaking him over Khalil.
What, taking Pierce over Khalil?
Yeah. Man, I'm high on both of them, to be honest. It seemed like Khalil's stock is just rising in these last couple of weeks on these mocks here. Wandale, nah. Not
for us necessarily. Jalen Tolbert is one that I'm pretty high on that I think could do a lot for our offense. I would take Tolbert right here if I'm gonna be real. Like I think that he would add some juice to this offense.
Yo, Pierce got juice too, man.
Pierce got some juice, but I think
Tolbert got juice, but Tolbert is like
juicier.
He's like a taller Jarvis Landry. That dude plays so mean, bro. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I love Tolbert.
He got the athleticism too, man. So my vote is Tolbert. If we going offense, he has the height, he has the size, he has the speed, vice grip hand.
You see Drake Jackson still on the board?
Yeah.
He might even.
I'm telling you, he's all over the place, right?
Oh, bro, believe me, I know.
So I'm torn between Pierce and I kind of like him.
Between the three receivers, it's really tough because there's an argument for all three of them. Yeah, I would say
I'm going Tolbert, bro.
We're in range here for a wide receiver too. It's not like we're
let's give Mal the pick because we got Muma last time, even though Mal went towards it, but I like Tolbert a lot too. So I think That's cool with me. Jalen Tolbert's a great player. That's fine with me. Right there, that's 4 starters we just got.
Yeah.
Take notes, Howie. It's not that hard.
What's the chat say here on this one? Only the dorks
This
are
man
left.
Gayle want to pick anybody but Jalen Tolbert, bro. You don't want nothing to do with Jalen Tolbert.
I like Pierce, man. I'm telling you, man.
I like Pierce too.
I like Pierce too, but I think Tolbert adds something to this offense that
I think Tolbert
Pierce
makes a
just
lot
not.
more sense for our team.
Yeah.
He's still scrolling.
I would almost go Khalil over Tolbert, but I'd love to get Khalil with the next pick, or even go. Your boy Cam Jurgens is on the board here,
Bro, Jalen Tolbert, get it done.
Tolbert.
He's ready,
Yeah, this one I don't like this one.
bro. They comping him to Marvin Jones. Like he is what we're looking for right now. Think you get him at 83? Come on, dog.
Here we go.
If Kobe
Ooh.
Bryant's still sitting there,
See if Kobe Bryant's there. But that's the
John
thing. We already
Ridgeway
got
wouldn't be
Booth.
bad.
We already got
Oh.
Booth.
good call. Yeah.
Yo,
Ridgeway isn't a
wait.
bad one. Drake
I
Jackson sitting there.
Right now we're at the 88th. We're at the pick 101.
Yo, Tyreek Smith is really interesting too from Ohio State.
Twitchy, yeah, on the outside for sure.
Drake Jackson, Kyle Phillips.
I feel like I saw someone I liked.
John Ridgeway too, man.
Yo,
Like-
yeah. Brian Robinson's on the board, right?
I was about to say
I think
Brian
Brian
Robinson
Robinson
would be the pick for
Brian
me.
Robinson. I think as soon as I saw a junior, I'm like, I think Brian Robinson's the pick.
In the
Brian
third?
Robinson would add. Oh hell yeah! I mean, this
Yes.
is we talking tail end of the third, going into the fourth here. Like
Yes,
Brian Robinson adds something to this offense. That's
he could be the starting
tough,
running back
bro.
for the Eagles
absolutely,
for 4 years.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. See here.
I think Brian Robinson. It's not even close.
We gotta get the controls to somebody else. So man, Gayle be going. He be going
I'm
roll with the things.
I'm just thinking who's on the. Bro, I have not flexed my Howie muscle yet.
This is true, Brandon.
No, but this is what
Weaver
Howie
an
does.
interesting
He's
one,
just
too.
like the scouts like, yo, just take this dude. He's like,
I would have went.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'll let y'all take over my Pierce pick on that one. No, I like Brian Robinson. I mean, I was hoping I could get him in the fourth round.
If you
Yeah.
think he's still gonna be there,
I don't
what do
think
you
he's
think,
gonna
man?
be there.
I don't think he's
gonna
gonna.
be there.
Do we pick an edge yet?
No,
We did
Kelly
not.
said we didn't take a linebacker. We took linebacker. We took Chad Muma.
Yeah, we took Mama.
Oh, this is the longest pod ever. Boy. We're gonna go with Brian Robinson here. Get us the fuck out of here. Moving into the fourth round of the NFL mock draft.
Yeah, if Drake Jackson's still sitting there,
I'm
take the
looking at
flyer.
edge and tight end. Edge, tight end. That's what I'm looking at here. Because here comes the value.
Yeah, we got Damon Pierce on the board. Rashid
Well, we took whatchamacallit already. Robinson.
Becky, Jack Sandberg, Kyron Williams, no. JoJo, Darian Beavers, yeah, not so much. D'Angelo Malone.
Malone is interesting
I
from
like
Western
Malone.
Kentucky.
Let's go
Yeah,
Malone here.
as a
No,
edge rusher.
wait. You have to see
Yeah,
what
hold
I'm saying.
on.
Let's do Malone here.
Chill.
Jesse,
We were taking our sweet time the last couple picks, and then we were gonna jump the gun. We didn't even scroll once yet. Jake Ferguson's still there. What other tight ends are there?
Yo, we could get Charlie Kohler, man. I feel like
Yeah.
we could get some value at tight end.
Yeah, I
This
just
is
can't see
drying up
who's-
for us at edge rusher.
I say we get
Yeah,
D'Angelo Malone here.
I
not mad at it.
Malone's cool. I think, and that's my point though. In the fourth, you just got Malone could start on some teams. That's why it's like
Interesting, man.
that's the
Interesting.
type. But D'Angelo Malone's the kind of guy that you want to get though, because that's the guy that can sit behind our guys and
Right, and
then
develop.
take over. Exactly.
Yeah.
Moving into the fifth round, pick 154.
154.
We got Hassan Haskins on the board, Tyquan Thornton, Cordell Volson, North Dakota State, Kingsley Inigbare made it to the fourth round.
Still sitting there, yeah.
No, fifth round.
I think that's where he ends up, bro. To be quite honest, I think he ends up in that 4th, 5th round.
Jerome Ford on the board, Justin Ross.
Shit, take that waiver on Ross. Fuck it.
Romeo
Do you think he's
Dubs.
gonna be there to the next pick? Because we pick in.
It's possible.
We pick in 8 picks.
At 160.
Is Kohler still there?
62, yeah.
Yep.
That's what I want to say. Kohler.
Still hurt.
Yeah. Kohler still be there though, I feel like.
Bo Melton still on the board.
We could take who were you talking about before Kohler?
We're talking about Justin Ross. We're talking about Jerome Ford.
Yeah. Is Areza still on there? The punter?
Possibly.
Because I think
I didn't see his name.
Him, Kohler, and like someone else would be crazy in the 5th round. You get those 3 in the 5th?
What the hell? They got the specialist, don't they?
I don't see.
I thought they did. Put his name in a certain fine player.
How do you spell his name again?
Just put ARAI, and then it'll probably pop up.
Nope. ARIA. Oop. Ariza. Nope.
I think it's Areza. Maybe they don't have special teams.
It's ARA. Nah, they have special teams.
Nope.
Somebody took him.
All right, that makes sense that he's gone by the 5th.
Caleb Evans,
Justin Ross, Jalen Armour Davis, Charlie Kohler right here. Pretty much any of those guys.
Kohler still there.
I rock with Kobe too. Is just like a special teams linebacker. Or listen, if anything, hell, go Ross, Kohler, Bailey Zapp, and take whoever we got in the 7th round.
You got Dubs is on there. What about Kingsley?
Yeah, see, my man Peace know. My man Pete know that Armour Davis.
He's still there?
He's developing in the corner. Yeah, he's absolutely still on the board. You could keep scrolling down. They have him ranked low as hell on this thing for some reason.
That's stupid.
Maybe he moved.
He's gone, bro.
They took him.
Oh man.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Charlie Kohler, Justin Ross. Yeah.
The number 154 pick, we pick Iowa State's Charlie Kohler. Heading into the number 162 pick in the bootleg 4th and Jawn draft.
Before we pick Ross, who's left at
Ross is gone.
Ross is gone. We need to get offensive line. Who's left? Tackle or guard? We need to take an offensive lineman.
Fedarian Lowe from Illinois. We have Cade Mays from Tennessee. Chris Owens, Alabama. Donovan West. Logan Bruce from Wisconsin. Malcolm Rodriguez. You guys like Rodriguez?
Undersized, but he gives a hell of a lot of effort.
Yeah. Kelly Deach from Arizona State.
If we're going O-line, Max Mitchell, maybe, but probably Donovan West. I'm not in love with any of those offensive linemen, though.
Yeah, do you want to just take a cornerback now and then take a lineman on the next pick?
We got Jack Jones. We got Chase Lucas, cornerback.
Maybe Josh Jobe from Alabama too. He's not really talked about, but he was playing well on tape as well.
Sam
And the
Webb.
kid Sam Webb is definitely a sleeper too.
We lose
Yeah,
something?
they definitely took a raise off the here.
Yeah. Who do you guys want to go? Smoke Monday, safety, Auburn. You guys said you wanted a cornerback, right?
I was just trying to see who's
Yeah.
there.
Son Haskins, Saquandre White. Oh, we don't need him. Nah.
Is Zion McCollum still up there or he's gone already?
He's still here.
I think that's the pick then.
Yeah. If he's still there,
Yep, he's still there.
yeah, probably Zion McCollum.
Pick 166. Eagles still on the board here.
Is that old lineman?
We're throwing darts. Nah,
Oh, yeah,
we're in the
this-
fifth round.
I mean,
The fifth round.
at this point, Max
Smoke Monday.
Mitchell isn't terrible.
Oh, Melton's still around.
Yeah, I mean, Melton gives you that the return upside. If Marquis Bell is still there, I would take Marquis Bell.
Is McKinley from Oregon still there? He had to have gone earlier.
Verone. Yeah,
No,
he's still around.
there.
That's crazy.
Want to go Verone?
I'm cool with that if
Yeah.
you guys
I'm
are.
good.
I don't understand how he's still there.
Moving into the sixth round. Boy, if you're here, you got the sickness.
Word. Respect to you if you stuck it out, man.
Yo, if we walked away on this weekend with this draft,
Oh yeah.
I go crazy. But it's not gonna happen. That's why we get to enjoy it now. Bro, Kyle
Right.
Hamilton, Andrew Booth, Chad Muma, Jalen Tolbert, Brian Robinson, D'Angelo Malone, Kolar, and Zion McCollum, and Verone McKinley. That's crazy. That's more starters in one draft than you're getting like the last three combined.
That's why I
Which
love
is
this
sad.
draft because it's just stockpile
Value city,
with
bro.
dudes
Value
that can play,
city.
man.
Value
It's like
city.
everybody declared at the same time, and I'm like, yo, you know how many undrafted free agents gonna end up contributing? Because there's just not
Yes.
enough picks, yo.
It's our last pick. Pick 237. Oh, Isaiah Pacheco. Abram Smith now from Baylor. Tyler
I'll say see
Algier.
who's
BYU.
there from the offensive line standpoint. If it's anybody worthwhile.
Andrew Stuber from Michigan. Offensive tackle.
What wide receivers left? Yo, is Charleston Rambo still there?
Yeah,
Yes, he is.
Geiger, Kalen Geiger,
I think it might be
Trey Turner
Charleston
to
Rambo,
fly.
bro.
Ontario Drummond from Ole Miss.
Charleston Rambo's by far the best one still there.
Let's see here. Charleston Rambo. They drew first blood. The last pick in the mock draft. The mock draft. No, I mean, interesting. We came away with some interesting picks here.
Yeah.
So number 15 overall, Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame, 15th overall pick. Number 18 overall, Andrew Booth Jr., cornerback Clemson. Number 51 overall, Chad Muma, linebacker, Wyoming. Jalen Tolbert, wide receiver, South Alabama, with the 83rd pick. Brian Robinson Jr., the power back from Alabama, 101. D'Angelo Malone, we get an edge late from Western Kentucky. Did have a visit with the Eagles already. Charlie Collar from Iowa State, tight end, pick number 154. Zion McCullum, cornerback, Sam Houston State, number 162. 166, Verone McKinley, safety out of Oregon. And the last pick of the bootleg draft from 4th and Jawn, Charleston Rambo, wide receiver, Miami. Wow, dude. Todd says he likes it.
Adam said Coach Stoutland gonna have to coach us some undrafted folks.
Paul says if we did this draft, this will be the best draft we've ever had done. I know Howie will never listen to us. Pete says this is probably the best bootleg draft we've had so far. Hey man, if you stuck it out, man, hour and 45 minutes.
If you go through it, Hamilton starter, Booth starter, Moon starter, Jalen Tolbert starter, Brian Robinson is a starter on the team at points. He will get starting reps with this team. D'Angelo Malone, he is a huge upside guy. Kolar, he is the tight end too immediately. Zion McCullum, he's going to be an awesome dude to have on the team as well. And Charleston Rambo, that's a dude that's going to play too. Like that's the guy. So right there, that's all starters or guys with tremendous upside.
Absolutely.
Y'all did a phenomenal job. We didn't have too many arguments. I think we all kind of in the mid rounds, we kind of had a couple guys that we were, figuring out. But I think overall we got some good talent. I think again, man, we're 2 days away from the draft.
Oh my gosh, so close.
Mal, you head down to the link, right?
Nah, bro, I gotta work. I got a third lap episode that I absent-mindedly scheduled for the NFL draft, so I'll be gutting that out. But I can't wait till Friday or Saturday. Y'all know, I'm in the building, man.
Yes, sir. Last question from Brandon says, "Does Rager get traded this weekend at all?"
It wouldn't shock me. I mean, him and Sanders have both been on the block the whole offseason.
I think Dillard does.
Yeah.
I think Dillard is going to be a part of the Jets trade.
Hey, speak that into existence. I'm feeling that.
No, because I think Becton wants out from New York, so I think they're going to need Dillard.
Okay, all right. Brandon says the Eagles are listening to calls from me. This is true.
And people
better be.
I think Pete he does get traded. But yeah, man, I know this has been a long one. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Again, shout out to Chris Mallee and Mal Davis for sticking around and giving us another little flavor. How about Kyle Hamilton falling to us? That was nice.
Man.
For one of our last mock draft. That's kind of nice. Overall, I mean, we got good value. Shout out to Evan Hollywood Hearn, who's out here working hard for the money. Shout out to Prime, who is out there with the family at the Phillies game, getting rained out. But yeah, any last words, Mal, before we get out of here?
Yo, just always happy to be here, man. Congratulations to the homie Mallee. Like, to see how far you've come in the 2 years that I've known you, it's a testament to your hard work and just the type of person that you are. So just excited to see you keep grinding, keep rising, keep hustling. I'm going to get you on the third lap, my boy. We're going to make that happen. Gayle, appreciate you as always for continuing to keep me on and keep me around. You know what I mean? I always enjoy talking football with y'all. Hollywood Hearn, Prime, y'all boys, y'all know I love y'all, man. Excited for Thursday, bro. Can't wait. Just locked in. Whoever the hell schedule a Sixers game and a draft on the same day, killing me. But hopefully Howie nails the draft. The Sixers could close out Toronto and be a good Thursday, man. That's all I'm hoping for.
Mallee.
Yeah, absolutely. Mal, always appreciate the support and kind of words, my guy. As always, I always got you. And I'll hop on the show whenever, man. Just let me know. I'll be there.
Sir.
Yeah, I'm glad that we got to do this, man. Draft season's always a good time. But yeah, I mean, anyone in the chat, thank you as always for stopping in, interacting with us. You keep us going. It's awesome. And it is impressive, but also sad for the Eagles that we know just as much or more than the front office. That's not here or there, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I can't wait for Thursday. Obviously, I wish I saw some of you guys down at the link, but I'll see you guys throughout the off season and down at games. But I want to watch the Sixers at home. I want to watch the draft at home, and I'm gonna be rushing home from work after 7:30. So I'll be there. I'll have my pizza and wings. I'll be chilling, man. I'll be chilling. But yeah,
it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a weird day, dude.
Everyone, get your Sweat Taylor, man. Discount
Absolutely.
C Mallee ST. Get you that friends and family discount for all you guys. But yeah, I'm telling you, if you want to dress like Chris Long, Nick Foles, Jason Kelsey, any of the NFL prospects coming up, Sweat Taylor.
Fly
plug
like
it too. Every other Friday, the Third Lap podcast. Every other Sunday, Mind Your Mentals, man. Get on that.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. We're gonna be down there probably at the Phillies game earlier in the day because we're nuts like that, and then we're gonna go move from the Phillies game into the draft party. If you guys are down there, stop by, say what's up. We're gonna just be getting content and just really watching this draft, and really this is just a mental process for any draft head out there. Like if you don't get it, you don't get it. It's cool. We do. Like we love the shit. I'm excited for the next steps of this Eagles team. And moving forward, man. Hoping to a great draft. But we'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, fly, Eagles, fly.